Well. I wanted to say it's glad to be here tonight. I wanted to say just pretty much I have a couple of sculptures I'm going to be working on tonight. I made a sculpture here, and I just wanted to kind of let you guys see how it's going. It's been a long time since I've at the 6 o'clock marker that I'm usually used to. What happened was this: I've been kind of working on different projects, and so what ended up happening was that I actually canceled one of the projects I was working on, and so got a chance to actually start doing something else. So I thought, let me just go ahead and just kind of have a good chat tonight with you guys. And I want to say thank you everybody who's here. Pretty much, I guess I got to wait a little bit until more people start showing up. But for the most part, though, that's kind of one of those things. We on the last couple of days, pretty much last couple of days has been really cool. I did a video the other day, and I was working on a couple of creatures. I want to show you some of the creatures that I've been working on. And I guess when more people jump in, I'll show you some of those. But for the most part, I don't want to steal all my thunder all in the same time, without like being able to kind of just kind of share some of the cool things I've been working on. So yeah, it's been a while since I actually did one of these live videos, and I just want to say, well, I'm gonna wait for some people to come and join me in the chat and see how that goes. So I'm gonna make sure that's all functional. Make sure the chat is functional real quick. Let's see, chat filter, community moderations, yabba dabba doo. Let's go get that going. Messages. Let's see, fan funding. Yep. Yep. Super and highlight membership messages show up here. If as you change filters, the filter will only show you the last 100 fan filters. Okay, cool. So I actually put for the chats and everything as well too. So gonna have those the situation there. So I'm gonna have me a spider on my head, and I'm gonna start off with that. And let's see what some cool things we can actually do tonight. Gotta find my bags real quick. Hello and welcome. Good evening. I just want to say good evening. Thank you for joining my channel tonight. I'm going to go ahead and start working on some cool projects for you guys. Some of the cool things we're going to be working on is a friend of mine gave me this wonderful hat, so I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of show you the cool thing about it. So it says "Make America Healthy Again." Was there ever a time when America was healthy? I'm not really sure, but for the most part, though, I'm going to go and take it from there. We're going to work on some cool stuff tonight. I have a couple of ideas what we can do. Let me see. I'm going to go switch it up. I changed the fan funding. I'm going to put it to top messages. Or there. So if you guys want to go ahead and write me a message and say hello and hi. Hi, how are you doing? Good to I say pixelated FN. Good to meet you. I'm going to work on some creatures tonight. I have a couple that I've been working on. It's been pretty good. It's been. Let's see. Devon W says hi. I say hi back to you. Hi and welcome. It's great to have you here with us tonight. I'm going to do some cool sculpting and some chatting with you guys tonight. I want to show you some of the products I've been working on. Some things. This one's actually one of the coolest ones. I did like a live stream on this one, and what are you doing? So this one here today. This is actually a fire belly salamander looking thing, and it's not really a fire belly. It's more like a fire belly lizard. And so it happened that there's like this light here. So like see images. So you see this cool little belly. This is fun. I actually got a chance to actually make this, and this was like before I had him, I just kind of painted him. I'm gonna put this seal on him and finish that up. So this is gonna be one part. I'm gonna take the whole camera and move over there to my workshop and kind of show you guys. But once people start coming in, I'm gonna show you another one too. This is like well, you've seen the spider already. Those of you who've seen the spider. And so what happens is that right this way here. If you guys like to, don't forget always like to give it like thumbs up and support to the channel if you can, because that's always great. What happens is that the other thing I want to show you. This is the one that I actually worked on. This is a cool one here. This is one of my six-legged hammerhead diplocollises. Today we went to the program. We went to a program. We had this program today at the museum, and they had live animals. We talked about endangered animals today. So the endangered animals they talked about and extinct animals. One of the things they had mentioned was about the fact of the matter. They had this thing where it was like they talked about animals that are all like missing and they're gone. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you some of the cool ones. So this, for example, this is one of the extinct ones. This is one of the diplocollises, right? And so pretty much he's actually going to go out. He's for a customer, and so I had him with me on my Instagram. On Instagram, you can see on my Instagram all the different things I did with him. He had him like in the what do you call that? The fireplace that I like to put into the fireplace thing. This is one of those. I absolutely love putting that there. So that's one. I also brought my diplocolliton because what happens, there's a diplocollis type people, and then there's a diplocollitins, right, which are the humanoid ones that look like, so there's a female and there's a male one. And what happens, they have weapons. So she has a sword, right? And this one here, and they also have the 5 fingers. So you know how they have the reptilians to talk about the reptilians and stuff like that? Well, This is talking about a diplocolitans. They're kind of the species of hammerhead salamanders that are out there. So what I want to show you one more thing. This is the coolest one I want to show you right here. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to do some more work on it, but probably going to do some sealing. So here's this one here. I have this here. This here is one for the customer. This is called a triggerfish, but it's a chupacabra. So when you have that, you have all the cool fins and stuff like that. So this is like a fish monster, and it's a fish monster, and I call it chupacabra. So this one here has worked on that last couple of days, and these are one that goes for a customer. Here's another one I have. Another one here that I have for this one here is a pretty cool. I remember before I was doing that when I showed you the picture, I made that cool sound. Well, this one is going to be like a snake dragon, call it. I'm going to put some scales on this one, so maybe I might do that one tonight. But I just want to talk to you guys about a bunch of stuff. So this is one, this is two, and then you've seen my gremlin. So this is another gremlin I've been working on. So you have this gremlin, and he's just like, hello, I'm a gremlin, hello, and I give him the cool eyes and stuff like that. So I'm going to just go to continue to work on him and make him better. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you guys some more cool stuff that I've been working on. But I'll take the camera. I'm going to go for a nice little walk over that way, and we're going to go start setting up on the base camp. So bear with me in a mind. Just continue to give me a thumbs up and stuff in the chat. Let me know how it goes. I'm going to go put the cameras over here in a little bit. And when I do this, it's going to get a little darker, so let me go ahead and do that. I just want to say thank you so much for joining my class tonight. My class here. I'm going to do some cool artwork for you guys to see. So first I got to make it darker, because I'm going to put my screen over here. Then we're going to go for a nice little walk, right? So here we are. I'm going to take you guys a nice little walk with me. Right, so I'm going to flip the camera over. So flip it that way. Flip it that way, so you see that camera right there. And then I'm going to block the camera, and I'm going to bring it over to where. Okay. That's never good. That's never good. Drop your whole phone on the ground. Of course, of course. All right, cool. Oh, let me see. How about of course. Well, that was absolutely terrible. I totally dropped my phone on the floor, but I'm glad it all worked. So now I've returned. So okay, this is what we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take it on my other screen, put it over there, and walk over to here. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and walk right over here. And this party started. So this morning I was working on an elephant. I had it on my Instagram. I started working on this elephant here. So you can see right here. This elephant. And this elephant, I did a live on my Instagram. And so this elephant, I'm going to give it some seal to make sure this is all done. I have a couple of fish that I was here at the Museum of Natural History. On Museum of Natural History, we went to back on I think the 5th or the 6th. I think we went last month. We went there, and so what happened was when we went there, we had to end up paying the congestion pricing and stuff we were talking about before. And what ended up happening is here's one of the fishes. Fish is called an opa. Right, so I'm going to give it a paint covering. This one here is an elephant, and this is also the Museum of Natural History. Yes. And so what happens is you have that there. Next thing, this one here is a Diplocaulus, and also Museum of Natural History. So you have all the creatures that I make it has a basis in reality, or basis in the fact that I actually make them from something that's real. So I don't necessarily do abstract per se, but I do a lot of creatures that are real or realistic or from a real origin. See, so I don't do abstract art. That's one of the things that you notice about my artwork that I do. I don't do a lot of swirls, a lot of things like that. I do a lot of straightforward abstract art. So what I'm going to do, my friends, thank you so much for the thumbs up, everyone. Feel free if you want to give a super chat too. Feel free to do that too as well. A super chat, give $1, give 50 cents if you want, as much as $100, as much as you like. And definitely, please feel free to talk to me about this stuff. I totally enjoy just being able to do this stuff, and this artwork is my favorite because it's so versatile and so durable. So let me get out of the Twitter real quick. Don't worry, I have a body paint coming up for you guys at some point. I just haven't been able to do one lately because one has been super cool, and two, regarding some of the art stuff that I do, I'm kind of moving in a whole new direction and stuff regarding stuff. So what's happening is that I'm trying to do more artsy stuff that's with more masking tape. I'm trying to see if I can get into places that I can do more more classes. I could talk to you about a little bit of the class that we did do regarding. Remember I had mentioned about if you look at my Instagram, you saw I had been doing the last 4 weeks, been doing some anatomy classes with actual people, and people are there to to actually pose for us, and then we sculpt them. So I have a couple of sculptures from that. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and paint this fish. You see this fish right here? I'm going to paint this one. We're gonna put some seal on this elephant. We're also gonna go ahead and, I'm just gonna not tell you. I'm just gonna go ahead and just start doing it because it's better just to start doing it instead of explaining what you're gonna do. So here it goes. This is one, right? This is one. I'm gonna put the chat on, right, so you guys can see. Right now I put the chat on just to fan funding. So now I'm gonna put it back to the top messages, and so hopefully people will give me some top messages so I can see that. So if you please keep the chat respectful and everything like that. Don't get me off my point of view or where I'm trying to get into. Please, I live in New York. If you want to know, you can ask me those questions. Many people come up and ask me questions. I live in New York. Live in New York City. Yes, we just killed the congestion pricing thing. Trump just killed that, which is great, if you ask me, because the congestion pricing was one of those things that was just a poor man's tax. I have a family of six, and so what ends up happening is that, hi, how are you doing? What ends up happening is that to go anywhere in the city, we either had to take the train. The train's been having issues lately. They're talking about, and they always try to second guess us, make us think that we're not sure what we're doing. So we're like, they say, oh, this crime is up. They say, oh no, crime is not up, crime is down. So instead of them talking the truth, they end up talking lies. The light's really dark right there. Let me see if I can make it just a little bit better. So let's see right there. I'm not sure. I'm probably better like this way. Put it this way. Maybe it's better this way. Just a little bit so you can see more of this stuff. I don't want to block the light, but okay. So here's this. So first of all, we're going to paint this fish right here. See. So what I'm going to do is this, right? So this is called a opa, O-P-A-H. Opa, like not opera, but opa, O-P-A-H. And I'm going to give it a gray covering for this fish, right? And so when that one's going through its thing, this also is palette paper. I love this palette paper. If you've ever seen this before, it only costs $4. So I'm going to put some ink here on the palette paper. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and start painting this opa fish. So let's start with the furthest away so I can actually hold this thing. So we're going to have that. Let's start holding it and painting it. For the most part, though, what's end up happening is that you're actually faced with the things happening with our congestion pricing situation. Was that it's kind of an interesting idea. It has two sides to it. Let's say the idea is this, right? How do you get something like that going without charging people more money? Because you end up paying several times. The reason why they stopped it before, because they said it was like a tax on people who were just getting over COVID, is what they said. And then after COVID and the whole thing of having a government shutdown was the worst idea in the history of bad ideas, right? Because what happens is that when you stop the government from doing this thing, or stop people from moving, you actually cause people to go into self-introspection mode. And so many people don't know how to deal with themselves, So many people, when they have freedom, they don't know what to do with that freedom. So they end up going into some really destructive habits and stuff, And so destructive habit can be anything from, start to drink more, or watch more TV, or get involved in all kind of wickedness and stuff like that. And so what ends up happening is that people end up taking the time to just, so they said the reason why they didn't have the congestion pricing last year, when the Democrats were in power and stuff like that, was because they figured that it was, they're hoping to win the election, That was kind of one of those things. So they decided not to do it, and then so when they lost the election, like, oh, let's go ahead and do it. So they pushed for it. That's what our glorious governor was saying. They wanted to do that because, now that they didn't win, or like a winning tactic, no new things. It's kind of like someone was talking to me about like how they didn't want to buy a house because what happens when you buy a house, when you do anything financially, what ends up happening is that people come and they watch the stuff that you do, and they see that if you're doing something, if you're trying to get the best rating for a house thing, you have to kind of do nothing. So what they're trying to win the game. So instead of them doing the game right, and just having it where they're gonna do this thing and then people make a decision, they try to do that thing where they not cheat. Cheat's not the word. Rig. Well, rig is one. How about slanted? One of the things today I was reading in Proverbs chapter 20 was saying about like diverse weights are an abomination to the Lord. If you look it up in Proverbs chapter 20, it talks about how there are certain things that people do and they shouldn't do, because incidentally, as they do it, it's causing people to actually get a false notion or false impression. And so the thing is, like, one of the things that the people have trouble with, that we all have trouble with here in New York, is that we're saying that most people, it seems like they care more about other people other than the citizens here in New York, and they seem to kind of prioritize that to where people who are going through situations and struggles, they are not getting the same kind of like support system, to the point where people are like, okay, you know what, should we trust our government because the way government was supposed to be was not supposed to be like in all of our business kind of thing. They're supposed to actually leave us alone. And every time the government goes through a round of government type things, they tend to kind of just go ahead and kind of mess with us. So what ends up happening is that they keep meddling with us, like they said in the movie Serenity. They keep meddling with us. They don't they're not just doing what they're supposed to do in terms of protecting us. They're kind of meddling with us, making us pay more taxes, pay more in this and fines. And then we have the bureaucracies. We have so many bureaucracies, right? That people are like, what are they doing? What's going on here? So so for the most part, that what ended up happening was you have this thing where people are just like, I'm not sure what we should do or what we could do, and then so they made the decision to go ahead with this congestion pricing thing. And for me, that it's kind of like from where I'm standing as a person, it's like it's already difficult to go to Manhattan, right? When you go to Manhattan, there's like no gas stations, right? So you have to kind of load up before you go. It's hard to find a grocery store, hard to find any stores in Manhattan, because what they do is that you are kind of like you have to find parking, and parking is horrendous in Manhattan. It is really horrendous. If you find like when I was doing food delivery, and doing roadie deliveries, right, in the city, I was finding it very difficult just to even to park, right, to park the car. You had to be able to park the car, run inside. Sometimes I would take people with me just so I have the advantage of finding a parking spot. It wasn't just one of those things where I would just kind of go, and go anywhere. It was like I had to go inside and to like go deliver something, and then I had to run back as fast as I could before I got a ticket. That's another thing too about the whole thing regarding this whole thing with the prices. You get tickets just pretty much for everything. So and tickets aren't cheap. If you park by a hydrant, you can get $115 ticket. If you park by a no standing, you can get $115 ticket. Those tickets are very expensive. So you're already paying tickets, you're already paying for registration, you're already paying for all these other things you have to pay for just to have a car in New York, right? And then you have it where if you want to go outside of New York, for example, you want to go upstate or something, you seriously need a car. You need a car because your car, you can't just rent it. I mean, you can take a bus and stuff like that. But when you get there, you gotta like figure it out. So it becomes very inconvenient. It becomes one of those things where I don't want people to travel. There's a movie called In Time. It was Justin Timberlake in it and stuff like that. And it was a pretty cool movie. And one of the things was about the movie that made it interesting was that they had like a 15-minute city, right? And they had everything that you wanted to have was in the city. But the thing about the movie In Time was that you had to give a lifetime or extra money just to go from one region to the next. And so there was in the story how it goes, there was a guy who was like he was like one of the elites. He had like 1,000 years or something like that on him. And what they ended up doing was that they it's a very, very cool movie. I mean, it's worth a watch. And so the first time you watch it, you're like, man, this movie is pretty cool. Second time you watch it, man, this movie is really cool. So what ended up happening is that you have a thing where he's able to travel through to the inland, to the best places, and every meal costs this almost a lifetime because your money is your life kind of a thing. So it was very interesting, intriguing movie. So every time you want to do something, you have to pay it in terms of time, And I don't spoil the whole movie for you, but it was like when he got a chance to travel to the inland and to see all the different stuff, you got a chance to meet different people, the elite, the best of the best. You got a chance to, and then you find out that this is a broken system that's made by them, and the people live a long time. Oh, is my battery running low? I hope it's not. I hope it's running low. No, it's not running low again. Oh, really? Battery's running low again. I thought I had so much power on this thing. Okay, I better hurry and plug this in real quick. So, okay, this is one. Let me plug in this battery here, so that way it can continue to give, you know, continue to focus on this thing here. Okay, good. Hopefully that'll be enough. All right, so there's that one. Looks like one of the, what do you call it? This is a deep sea fish. Okay, cool. So it's charged. Okay, good. So you have that. So this is a deep sea, a fish they find in the ocean, and so this was like in the hall of biodiversity, diversity of life, and this one fish is on the wall, and so I've been meaning to paint this fish like forever, so finally got a chance to do that. And since I'm already in the gray paint, I might as well go ahead and finish up the elephant that I was working on before, and so I have to give it like the seal. So when this one dries, I'm gonna go ahead and put the seal on it too. So that's one thing too. So anyway, so tell you about some of the classes that we did. We were like totally. I had a really good time with the classes. Unfortunately, the situation kind of like it kind of started to turn because what happened was without getting into too much detail, I had a chance where I decided to kind of take this to a different venue and in a different place because it was like one of the things was like for me, it's like I feel as though maybe it's better if I kind of start with my own location and stuff like that and go from there and a place where I can set up some of my artwork. You know, so I'm in the process of kind of meeting different galleries and stuff too. So I like artwork in galleries, and I figure if I can do a workshop at a gallery, that's probably the best idea I should actually go for. Not to mention, it's like I've been teaching kids before, but if I had like a workshop where I could be at like all the time, I could definitely have different levels of teaching kids, teaching adults, teaching more advanced classes. Like what happens because this masking tape art, believe it or not, is very complex. You look at it and you see how it is. It seems very simple. I don't think simple is the word for this. I think complex is the word that goes with masking tape art. That majority of people, it's like they're not used to using tape to this level, and so I find that it's actually a complexity. And they say with everything regarding like thinking, when you have to think, it actually hurts because you see thinking is where the pain receptors are in the brain. So it's different. It's painful. So, but I think that it's that given more time, it's gonna really blow up and become really good type of thing. I think more people do it. Like they have like in Alaska where they have like the tape festivals and stuff like that, and people can dress up and make outfits and stuff. So I think I might actually make like a long term type thing where it gets to the point where we make like cool outfits and stuff. But for the most part, though, I think until then we're just gonna have to do things like where I'm gonna have to just kind of put together classes and so that's pretty cool. And then so let's see, Amy's one of my supporters. She continues to support in the art and encourages me with super chats, and that's always cool. So this here is a fish that just needs to kind of rest for a little bit. We'll let that fish rest right there. So that's kind of one. I already have. I have this fish here, right? I'm gonna put some of the black paint on it as well as have the great. I'm gonna go back and check on the elephant and make sure I got all the spots in the elephant before I seal it up. As you can see. Wow, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much for that. The $5 super chat is always good. Thank you, Miss. And so let me see, where's the other one? I had the where's let's see. It says thank you so much. Wow, I'm gonna like that too. I'm gonna give it a like, a thumbs up, and like. Thank you. All right, cool. Where's that fire salamander? Where did I put that fire salamander? Put that fire salamander. Okay, I have this one here. This is one of my mole, right? Because I had the thing about the mole men a while back. But anyway, so I have one of my mole people that I have here. Let's see if we can do some cool stuff with it. Let's see how it goes. Wow, I've gotten 5 thumbs up. That's so good. I really appreciate that. Everybody gives a thumbs up. I give a thank you too. All right, let's see the next one. Where is that little salamander creature? He was just here. I just had him in my hand. Is he up there? Well, I have this one. Maybe we can give it a good old painting. Oh, there he is. There's a salamander creature. He's a... All right, cool. Well, anyway. So, this is my spider, right? And this is one of my spiders. I'm going to put that over here next to this guy here. This one is a salamander creature, so I'm going to use some of he's the salamander, fire belly salamander kind of one. He looks so totally cool. So I'm going to go back and make sure I'm going to catch every spot. Then I'm going to go and hit him with the seal. We're going to do a lot of seals tonight, right? Because when you do the seals, it makes it even better and lasts longer. You got a diplocollagen. It's much better in the sunlight. You can see that. There's a diplocollagen 1, diplocollagen female, right? And so the male is this big, the female is this big. And so it's like, husband-wife team. Super team. All right, cool beans. All right, cool. There's that one. Next one is going to do is I'm going to put this over here out of the way. This is one of the things. It says this one was one of my favorite ones to put up. It says even in the toughest of days, have bright spots. Just do your best. And that's all you can do, ladies and gentlemen. All you can do is do your best. So for this one here, we're going to put him over here. We're going to contemplate what we're going to paint him as. Put him here. See, what happened was like this. You see the fish in the back? That fish was my template for when I made this fish here. So this fish is the same kind of idea with the fish. So you see how beautiful this is? This also needs some seal. So we're gonna do a delivery soon. I can't wait to do that. And so, but pretty much, you see how it dries and it gets kind of like a little chalky. Well, I'm gonna make sure it's all good and good before we actually go and deliver this creature to her. But definitely, it has to be finished and sealed. So that's one. Next one. Okay, so we're gonna go open the black paint now. We're gonna go to black paint. So this is gray. Gonna put the gray. Actually, no. Let's do some more gray. Gonna go back over the elephant one more time. Yeah, because the elephant needs to have more than one coat. Yep. So more than one coat for the elephant. So let's go ahead and do that. My friends, it's been like one of those things where it's like, when you think about how life works, this day, the thing was regarding the back to what I was saying before. We got a chance to meet some really cool animals this week. Got a chance to see some endangered species. We got a chance to see some creatures that were like not only endangered. We got a chance to see ones that were, well, pictures of one that were extinct. For example, we saw pictures of the dodo birds and stuff, and we saw pictures of like well, animals that were just no longer. But it was cool. My kids know so much about the animals that it was like when a teacher came to teach about them, they already knew like all the answers to all the questions. Because the kids like animals like how I like animals. So it's true what they say. Whatever you are, your kids will become. So make sure you like good things, okay? So your kids can like be part of good things as well. So the thing is like make sure also you do good things for them as well. So they're like but the thing is they have to learn challenges and stuff on their own too, so they can come back and tell you cool stories later. But for the most part though, you want to make sure that everything you do for the glory of God, because at the end of the day, it's like Solomon, the wisest of all people who ever lived, said the greatest thing is to serve God and keep His commandments. Everything else will bring you into trouble, into judgment, right? So, I mean, not that serving God is going to bring you in trouble too, but different kind of trouble. At least you're not in trouble with God. You know what I mean? So the thing is like this is the thing. So I'm just kind of going over and making sure I get all the nice pieces here, all the nice things done. Right, so it's nice and smooth, right? Nice and smooth, and everything is like a nice, good, and solid coat. Sometimes you have to go over twice with a coat just to make sure all the spots that you miss is nice and uniform, right? Because it's like that's like painting a wall, you know. I have a bunch of friends who are painters and artists and stuff like that, and a friend of mine who did a move the other day, and that's pretty cool that like they're supporting support a living artist. That's my friend. What happened was that they had this thing where when you moving is one of the hardest things to do if you ask me, because when you move, it's like you have to kind of rearrange all your things and start afresh. And then when you unpack the first time, like I remember when I went to college, and when I was unpacking all my stuff, it was like I knew that I have a home base, and that I have my school base. When I went to school. So that when I got there, it was one of those things where it's like now you're going to be establishing a new order of things. And a new order of things being you're going to be with roommates and people who are from different countries and different places in the world and different upbringings. And it was very interesting going there because when I went to Bible school and I went to university after that, it was one of those things where I met a lot of different people, and it's an experience. It's like you have to have your mind made up what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do before you go to anywhere. It's like because you're gonna get tested. So what you believe will get tested. So if you believe in something, you better believe it, because you're gonna have to be tested on it. And it doesn't stop when you're old either. When you get older, you know, people continue to test you and they want to see what you're made of. But it's like the Bible says that we're not even fighting against people anyway. We're fighting against flesh and blood, not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, which means that there's a lot of things that are out there that are influencing people, and it's like that they don't even understand it's influencing them, but it's not like on the human plane. It's actually on the spiritual plane. So you have things that are affecting people, like put it in this way: the birds, right? The birds are affected by the um, um, electromagnetic field of the earth, right? And so they're affected by it to where they know how to navigate. They can navigate great distances based upon the sun, the moon, and the sky, and the electromagnetic field, as well as bugs and birds and bees and animals and stuff like that. So they can actually do that too. So when you're something happens that affects the electromagnetic sphere, it causes the creatures to react funny or be off course. So it's kind of like it's severe enough to where something that we cannot see, that we have no power to affect, right, can seriously render us or change our course on things. And so what happens is like when you look at the situation of how things work, you find out that the people are affected by things. For example, alcohol, right? How many people drink to get free of the stresses of the day, And the Bible starts off in today's Psalm Proverbs chapter 20 verse 1. It says, "Wine is a mocker. Don't be watch out for wine and it's alcohol because it can control you." So like there's warnings all throughout scriptures about things that can control a person. For example, we talk about like being demon possessed or spiritual or all that different things spiritual. There's a thing when you open yourself up to demons or suggestion, you'll actually get suggestions. It's weird because it's like God says what we should do. We should meditate on His Word. He went through all the trouble of getting it, so it's written down for us to read. So if you want to know what God wants you to do, just read the scriptures. Now you may not understand it, but you got to read and ask God for wisdom and how to understand this, and He will give it to you. Because somebody said this, and actually Scripture said this. It says there's no wisdom or counsel or understanding against God. Right? There's no wisdom, no counsel or understanding against God, which means that the wisdom that you have that's good, that's right, that's perfect, will help you to, go on the right path. That's God's wisdom. It's about how God does not exist. It's not wisdom. That's actually foolishness, Scripture says. So if you try and counsel somebody that God does not exist, whatever, you enter into a realm of foolishness, and later you realize that that was some foolish counsel. Because it's like, you have a thing where, you know, you look at this thing. This elephant didn't make itself. You understand? This elephant that's being made, it's not made by, it's not made by random. Somebody who's through had to see an elephant, have to kind of like be able to, take the materials you have and turn an elephant. Not to mention even the paint. Everything didn't happen by accident. It had to be happen on purpose. So when you look at that, it said there's no counsel, or wisdom, or understanding against the Lord. That's to say that that there is an aspect that there is wisdom, and wisdom that takes you away from God is not a good understanding. I was having a conversation with one of the guys I was working with, and without going into too much detail about anything, he just said about like some things that were just not wise. Some things were just straight up not wise, and I could not be cool with that. I mean, there's certain things you just can't do. You just can't have certain kind of things in your life and not expect there to be consequences. As a matter of fact, he was going through a list of stuff that was consequences, and he didn't seem to understand where they came from. And it seemed like for example, if you put your hand on the stove, right, you will get burned unless the stove is off. But if the stove is on, you won't get burned. If the stove is on, sorry, the stove is on, you will get burned. But if the stove is off and it's been off for a while, you won't get burned. But if a person puts their hand purposely into a flame seen as a fire and they expect my job, right? You have this thing where we have a fake fire, and I go through a lengthy discussion about how this fire is not real. I go through a very lengthy discussion. This is not a real fire. This fire isn't real. This isn't real. Whenever I see like a little kid by the thing, I don't do anything for the fire sake because I don't want a kid thinking that this fire, which is a fake fire, is all fires. Because for example, like there's an aspect where we have to think in terms of the stuff that we do, how that affects people that see it. You know, sometimes I mean, like there's a thing where if people see stuff, they're gonna react to it. They're gonna act upon it. They're gonna do stuff, and they may not understand why. It's like that thing about weak consciences. Scripture talks about if you do something that'll offend a weaker brother, you hurt their conscience. You hurt their weak conscience. It's it's a lot of explaining to you. You kind of do a lot of risking it, whatever you do, because there's always going to be somebody who's against either video games or something, or against a movie that you've seen or something. So it's always kind of those things where you have to kind of be able to explain your point of view. But that's the thing, though. See, the thing is, there is an aspect of whenever you do anything, people are going to watch you. They're going to criticize you. They're going to watch you. They're going to say they could do it better than you. All these things. But the bottom line is when you do these things, how do you do something that's not going to hurt somebody? So you have to be able to explain your point of view, because there's always going to be somebody offended by something. You're going to have people offended fishing, but you have to fish sometimes. Like for example, today we were talking about endangered animals, right? So kind of an idea. This is an idea. The endangered animals we were mentioning about was about the sea turtles and about the polar bears, and so it seemed like a lot of stuff that they were talking about was kind of like old stuff. They hadn't updated the system yet, so they're still talking about old creatures that I think have now got out of the endangered list. For example, I think polar bears are not out of the endangered list because there's so many polar bears being born now, kind of thing. So you have that thing where it's like they're some animals are not in it, you know. And so what happens, just knowing that certain things can happen, certain things can happen. What happens is like it's changed. The series has changed. But they were saying like where's the train of thought going? It was saying about along the lines of like endangered animals, right? Endangered animals. If, for example, endangered chicken, right? Their chickens are not endangered. You want to know why chickens are not endangered? Because we stink and eat chickens like a lot, right? So if we didn't eat chickens, maybe they would be endangered. Maybe because they have no use for us, they would have to take up spaces and like for example, like elephants. Elephants are on the endangered list, right? You have elephants, and they're on the endangered list. My focus is out of focus. I don't understand. Okay, but elephants are on the endangered list. So you have that, right? So you have an elephant. And they're pretty strong. They've actually been known to just render people into and things like that because they're so stinking powerful and smart and they can come in and just plow a whole field and nothing can stop an elephant, right? Except the elephant gun, or not even electric fence could stop an elephant. So it's one of those things where the people who live near them have to deal with elephants and they're not best friends with elephants. Sometimes you're trying to work with them and stuff like that. People like elephants, but the bottom line is that sometimes when you work with a creature, you're not really sure exactly how the creature's gonna deal with you. So that's one. Let's see. Right, this is here. I'm going to go over another paint of that, but in this one here, I'm going to put some black paint on it because I like the whole red belly thing. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can paint this fish belly black a little bit. All right, so we have that. Let's see. Let me make sure my battery power isn't low on my phone because you don't want that to run out. Yeah, 21%. All right. Okay, so I think we have some tea in here. Let's put some hot water. I think there's water in there, but I'll still have some water. I'm gonna drink some water from there because one of the things like you have to drink. It's like, here's my cup. This is great. This is my One Life Mustard cup. See, so yeah, those of you who are here, drink some more water because it's good to drink water. This water is twice purified, so twice purified and boiled. So there's nothing in this water except water. Okay, so there's that. Drink some of that. So, okay, so. It tastes so good. Tastes so good. Lemon ginger. All right, so here's my water. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and work on painting some. We're showing you before the black salamander. Well, salamander, but a lizard that looks like a salamander. Right, so red belly is so nice. He's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go and just kind of fix up some of the parts that need to be fixed. You see that right there? This part needs to be fixed. This part needs to be fixed. All right, so we're gonna go do that, but I have to wait for the elephant to dry. So I'm gonna put black paint on the bottom of this fish here. And do black fin, right? It'll be nice and the red. It's gonna be black belly fish and red, and then I'm gonna go ahead and oh goodness, I gotta do that one too. I could do that with the mole man. Math man. Okay, so that like that. Push it there so it kind of leans backwards. Okay, so let's continue to talk, shall we? Let's do that. Move some of my stuff out of the way. This one is one of those really nice ones that I've made, and I'm gonna give it a seal. Hopefully by tonight I'll give it a nice seal. But I wonder if I should put some more lines on it. I think maybe I might put some more red. So what I might do is that I might just add some more red to it, make it a little bit more thicker red. Anyway, so that's that. Let's see how that works. Okay, so let's go to black paint. We're going to take this one here, the elephant out of here, hold it by its tusks, because we have to the tusk. I'm going to put the elephant over there by the pumps. Elephant over there. Next one we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take the fish itself, the opa. Really nice fish. Nice. Take the opa, and put the opa over there too. So opa's over there, and so is opa and the. So now we're going to take some of the black paint, right? Some black paint, and we're going to put the black paint here. If ever you want me to host or to be part of one of your programs, like come and teach a program. We do program teaching, by the way, so we're able to teach people how to do this art, and I absolutely love it. Things I just love about it is the fact that it's portable, durable, and it's relatively easy to set up. The other part about it that's good is that it doesn't leave a mess. So, for example, right now I'm painting, and even painting is not as messy as it could be. But when you work with clay, clay has its ups and downs, and one of the things is about drying and cracking because this stuff here, as you can see, when I get done with this one, he's good. He's all good, all ready to go, and all ready for the adventures I put him through because I put my art through adventure because life is about adventure, and your art should be able to handle it, right? I guess not everybody's art is the same. So my art is so the thing is like I doubt it's gonna last 1,000 years, obviously, but the thing is like with clay stuff it does break and you have to piece it all together. But even so, I mean, there's certain things about it that's really nice that you can put seal on it, which I'm gonna do. Then when I do the seal, you'll be able to see some of the cool effects of that and how durable it becomes, more durable it becomes. So yes, just gotta make sure I get all the spots. There's no spots left on this creature. So when I hit it with the black paint, it's all good and good. Now this one here for this fish, right? I'm gonna go ahead and see if I could just do some cool some fish lines on it. Like first question is should I go ahead and paint it with the black bottom? I'll do that too. Paint it here and see what happens. Okay, it's looking good. This one has seal on it, a little bit of seal. So there's a couple of things where if you put the seal on first, then you do that, you have a couple of scenarios that occur. Red belly, black belly bass, black belly porgy. Let's see. What do you think? You think it's good? Let me know if you think it looks good. Very simple technique, but it's so powerful when it's painted. I don't understand. It's just it can get very detailed with these things. The most detailed thing I've ever done was I think it was the Red Dead Redemption, where I made James Marsden and then also Arthur Morgan. Those guys were cool. Those guys were so cool to make. Look like a tiger barb. When you open the fins, it's like that. And blackfish. Well, this is, I mean, I guess you don't see too many red fish because you see red is a color that doesn't translate well under the water. It's more like blues and yellows and blacks and stuff. Those colors work really well. It's like pretty much I can't wait to start traveling again because we love traveling. We did a lot of traveling, and so we had to get a lot of things happen. When we had our car, we had a situation with our car where we had to kind of like you heard me say it 100 times. We had a car accident last year, and we had to go through that, and then after that we were able to get another car, and another car is a newer version. It's like well, our car before was 24 years old, and then this car now is only 14 years old. So it's a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. I like my Dodge cars because those cars for me are really well, but they stopped making the Dodge Caravan, so there won't be any more Dodge Caravans in the future unless you buy an old Dodge Caravan, which means that eventually there won't be any parts. It'll be like that movie where they don't have parts for the robots, and so they start outdating the parts. That's something there. It's like what kind of world is that? They're making parts and what is even currency? How do they make money? That's something there. But I don't know. It's just one of can't think about things too much because it doesn't make sense to think about things too much. It's just like sometimes it's just don't overthink, right? That's when I said that. But it's overthinkers that change the world, I guess. You think about it because you're mindful of stuff, very attention to detail, paying attention. One of the things I'm going to do soon is I'm going to actually go to sleep, take a nap, but not right now. I'm going to finish up some of these things and get these all done. I'm going to put some cool designs of this fish here because I've been saying like, okay, well, it'd be cool. So I'm going to put a mark on his head like this, right there. And then see if I can paint a nice little paint design. Right. I'm gonna give it some cool red belly marking. Let's go do like that, like how this one is a thing. So let's see, balance on both sides. So you have that one there, 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 and there. So I'm gonna call it the red dot fish, because the fish still have these interesting patterns. All right, I'm gonna flip on the other side, and put another line here. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but let's see if I can get some cool lines on this fish. There's that one. And then with that, and then I'm gonna kind of go like this. You see, the thing about this is like you have to kind of look like something you've already seen before. You just can't make something that's just not seen, because it's too bizarre. Like watching those 1950s classics where they make these creatures with these weird eyes, and you're just like, what? You know, we just finished watching this movie about what happens when the I can't even tell you the movie. I'm not gonna go on that road. Forget it. Just whatever. I'm just gonna keep going with this thing here because it's like the movie was so dumb, such a dumb movie. Anyway, so we have seen some really good movies in the last couple of days, and we did see Kung Fu Panda 4. I watched that with the kids, and the kids around, they were like, "Dad, I gotta watch the movie." So okay, so we started watching it, and it was actually I didn't expect it to be pretty much as good as it was. It's like, but I guess it was one of those things where he's kind of passing his power down to someone else, and you're just like, okay, what story are they gonna have there, kind of thing, you know. And so it's one of those things where they did that, and it wasn't as woke as I thought it would be. It had a couple of things, make you laugh, but kind of things to kind of question what their point was, the whole thing. But then you're just like, you know what? I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. So that's one of those things about offense I was talking about before. There's always going to be something that offends somebody about something, and you're going to have to kind of just factor that in, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like you have it where people are interesting. I mean, you got to understand that we are like one of the most powerful things in the universe, right? We could make anything. Like I'm sitting here making this fish and designing this fish I haven't really seen before, based upon like how the salamander's belly is. Looking at the salamander's belly, trying to see if I could make a fish that looks like the salamander's belly, to design it. I try not to get too much ink on my hands, but then you have to kind of like, I don't. It's one of those things where you're not entirely sure what kind of fish you're gonna make. Not entirely sure all the details, but the thing is, like, you're trying to make a cool fish, and you're trying to make a cool pattern, and then a cool, and then it's like you just something. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're not sure exactly how it's all gonna turn out, so you're just kind of meddling and doing stuff, So hopefully it turns into something, that you can actually, be cool with and think how cool it's gonna be when you're finished. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, this is kind of like a red and black fish. Okay, gotta finish the paint job there. All right, and so you can make it come all the way down there like this. Okay, so I'm just saying, it's like I'm just talking. I'm gonna talk a little less. The paintbrush is talking. Mm-hmm. It's alive. fish actually looks really nicely done. It's just like really cool. All right, let's go ahead to the details. Make sure this is good. Okay, it goes all the way down. I like this one. Maybe I'll make this into a fish monster at some point, or the same patterns for a fish monster. You know. Well, it's been one of those things where it's like, it's just a Thursday night. Thursday night, 8 o'clock on Thursday night. So yeah, so there's the things where you don't fight against people. You're fighting against spirituality and things in the spirit realm. So it's like the Bible says about that. You're not fighting people. So when you get in an argument, hold up, the devil's trying to split us up or something. Let's just ask God for wisdom what we should do here, and says God to help us protect us from the devil. Like when Job was going through what he's going through, he didn't know the devil was like listen, I'm just walking back and forth. And God's like, have you considered my servant Job? Is like, oh yeah, you got a protection around him. I can't do nothing. So the God said, well, I'll let you have him, but he's gonna curse you. Like, no, he's not. And so he didn't. Job did not curse God, but he did become self-righteous, and he was like exploring his own self-righteousness, and God had to kind of deal with that. And so it made him see that it gave him like double. But for the most part, though, it's like that thing where you never quite sure, what's gonna happen next. So you have to definitely ask God for wisdom before you do anything. So that's something there. So the fish has this thing here. I think I might actually make it like not so. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually like a cool red fish. Red fish. Put like a nice little dot right there. I think. I kind of little dot. Oh yeah, it works. Okay. Red bandit. Yep. Right there. Red bandit fish. All right. So you have that one. So this is a red bandit fish. Call it the red hatchet. There's a white tail. Okay, I like it. Okay, we'll stay there with that. Okay, we're gonna put this one over there too with the other one. All right, let's put that fish over there. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on. Look at this. Running out of. I need you not to. Oh no, I need you not to run low. All right, so we're gonna take some of this here and make sure we go over. Just make sure there's no spots that are missing. Make sure there's no spots that are missing on this here. It charges it quicker. Okay, so folks, this is what I have here. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can just go ahead and seal this jammy up. Let this jammy dry. I like this here. This is a cool thing. Just go ahead and fight. You have to fight. There is right there. Right, that's here. Red belly sound. Red belly. It's frozen. Okay. Okay, so it seems like the screen has frozen. So anyway, so what's gonna happen? I have this one here. These are little mole men, which I'm not gonna do tonight actually. Let me see if I'm time. I have this gremlin here. This gremlin that's just asking for someone to paint. So I think I might go ahead and do that. I think something happened to my thing. I have to turn this off for a second. Hold on a second. I'll be back in 1 second. Yeah, turn this one out. Yep, turn it back on. I'm live again. Okay, good. All right. I am fighting with technical difficulties here, folks. As always, there's a battery or something. I'm gonna have to actually put this on sign off because it's using more power than it's actually outputting. My friends, I'm gonna have to stop here. Usually I go for an hour, and it's almost an hour. I'm gonna to do more stuff I need to be mindful of, but for the most part, though, to I have to just come back to this. Unfortunately, the camera's not letting me do it. So. My friends, I want to say thank you so much for watching this channel tonight, and I'm going to stop here for the evening. I didn't get a chance to work on the gremlin. Maybe next week or later I might be able to work on him and give you some more details on that. But for the most part, before I run out of power, I'm going to say, like, hey. So I want to say thank you so much for watching my show tonight. It's not saving power. So unfortunately, I got to end it here. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. God bless you. All right. And tomorrow is Proverbs 21, chapter 21. Good chance. Okay. God bless you. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye bye. God bless you.